In the headlines, 2 dead, 5 rescued in Abuja building collapse. Governor Wike says consultations with Atiku, Obi, Tinubu and Obasanjo are in Nigeria's interest. Relief as Central Bank of Nigeria releases $265 million to foreign airlines. On the forensic clashes between rival armed groups erupt in Libyan capital Tripoli. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Nten Ekman. Residents of Kubwa, a satellite town in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, were thrown into panic after a 2-story building collapsed, killing 1 person and leaving workers trapped. The building, which was under construction, collapsed at the Hamza Abdullahi Street off Gado Nasco Road. In a statement, the spokesperson of the agency, Manzo Ezekiel, said that NEMA was alerted about the incident about 1 a.m. and immediately mobilized first responders, including FCT Emergency Management Agency, Fire Service, Civil Defense Corps, and the police to the site. Director General of the FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Abbas Idris, announced these on Friday, saying that the building collapsed. The Director General said rescue operation at the collapsed site came to an end with 5 persons rescued alive, 3 with various degrees of injuries, while 2 persons were unhurt. Meanwhile, the Minister of State FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, has commiserated with families affected by the Kubwa building collapse. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says his team is more interested in a better Nigeria and as such will consult widely with those who mean well for the country. Governor Wike spoke when he interacted with journalists at the Port Harcourt International Airport in Ikwere local government area shortly on arrival from London. Governor Wike, who confirmed their meeting with People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, All Progressives candidate Bola Tinubu, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, and former President of Nigeria Olusegun Obasanjo in London, explained that topmost on the agenda is how to make Nigeria better than what it is currently. The leader of the team and Benue State Governor Samuel Otom noted that they have met with renowned persons in the last few days because of their belief that Nigeria is in distress and required a concerted effort to rescue it. Abia State Governor Okezie Ekbazu emphasized that they are on a mission and are determined to find a way of rescuing Nigeria.
There was a kind of more progressive progress. We met with our leader, former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. We also met with our own presidential candidate, and now I can say confirm this is the first time as a team we are meeting with the presidential candidate, so you can see all those rumors and this and that.
For us, we are looking at the larger picture. Nigeria today is in distress. What can we do? No man or woman alone can get it right for our country. We are looking at how we can harness ideas and put ourselves together to ensure that we get out of the present challenge we are in Nigeria today.
We must find a way to rescue our country, not only for this generation, but for our children and grandchildren. And this is a country with great potential, and we have people everywhere. And we think that it's important we engage across board. We're also looking at speaking with civil society organizations and those who have ideas. Nigerians in the diaspora. All the resources are available in this country has to come together at this time to see how best we can move forward.
Parents in Taraba State have continued to express dismay over the prolonged ASUU strike that is exposing students to anti-social behaviors. Some residents in Jalingo, the state capital, described the strike as a major setback to their educational growth in the country. They called on the federal government to prioritize education, which is the backbone of every nation. Some students lamented how the strike made them to be idle, losing valuable time, and are afraid of what the future may hold. Associate Professor, Economics Department, Taraba State University, Yaya Emeje, speaks on the negative impact of the strike on the education system. He said Nigerian leaders should invest more in the education sector.
Have affected me so badly in the sense that I had a plan in life of which my graduation is part of it, but unfortunately I can't even think of graduating anytime soon because we are at home. And our parents that are there suffering, making ends meet just to see us go through school, and they've already planned everything. All of a sudden, as we came and spoiled our plans, and like, it's hurting.
In fact, I feel it's too bad about this strike that our children are in now. First of all, the school that when your children start up, which they're supposed to spend 4 or 5 years, they will now stay in the house more than 6 years, and they won't finish. Why? It's because of strike.
I'm even lacking words to express my dismay over the issue. It hurts everybody. The impact is very famous. People fail to understand it's not for only our kids. The economy, the society we are living in. These boys or these children are not going to school. They can venture into any profession, anything. It's very hazardous to the economy, to the society, to we parents.
ASU strike affected me very badly, and I'm angry speaking now because ASU strike interrupted my business. I'm an entrepreneur, and most of my clients, my customers, they are students. And spending 4 years in diploma and just getting admission after writing JAM for 7 years, thinking I'm going to graduate this year or next year, ASU have kept me home again and scatter my plans, scatter my business, everything. So I'm very angry, and I'm not happy with the government of Nigeria because they've done us more harm than good.
As a developing economy, we are supposed to take education very serious, because it is education that on its own that is a human resource base that will stimulate the social aspects of development like health, agriculture, water resources, and the gifts of the land.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, in Katsina State has been blaming the spate of murder, banditry, and other criminal activities, on illicit use of drugs and other substances. NDLEA Commandant of the Anti-Drugs Agency, Bashir Ahmed, said this in an exclusive interview with Trust Television News. Abdullah Yamadi completes our report.
The command believes that all capital offenses and other crimes could only be committed when the perpetrators are under the influence of drugs. It is also advising citizens to be wary of those disgruntled and unguided elements who deal in drugs in their communities if they are committed to defeating terrorists and their collaborators. In the same vein, the NDLEA blames parents for not taking the full responsibility of their children to ensure proper upbringing.
A child that grew up under a conducive environment where there is a harmony, moral relationship between the parent and the child is very less likely to take into substance use or drug use in the future, even if such a child faces challenges. All of us know challenges are part of life. But those that grew up under not coordinated home, where there is disassociation between the parents and the child, they are more likely with little challenge pick up into substance use.
The anti-drugs agency in Katsina also believed that if parents and the good people of the state are committed to ending these criminal tendencies, they should make the war against illicit drugs a priority. The command indicated its intention to take the fight to every nook and cranny of the state, despite some shortcomings.
As we speak, we have only 2 functional operational vehicles that cover the whole entire state. If Funtua wants to go to work, he has to come and collect vehicle from me. If Dara wants to go to work, he has to come and collect vehicle from me. and incidentally, it's still one that we use as an official vehicle too. So at times, you are just in between operation and other official duties. We really need logistics. That's why we are saying that they should not leave everything for government alone.
Residents believe that with the current trend of drug abuse by youth, who constitute the majority and the most important segment of the society, achieving the desired socio-economic development could be difficult if drug abuse is not addressed. While asking for synergy between the agency and other stakeholders, the NDLEA commends traditional institutions for putting its weight behind the war against drug abuse.
If you can tackle the issue of drug head-on, you invariably reducing other criminal activities in the society. The police will have less work to do, the civil defense will have less work to do, even the road safety on the road will have less work to do if you can reduce the effect of drugs.
The commandant is, however, inspired by the commitments of some people in Katsina State for furnishing the anti-drugs agency with credible information leading to the arrest of some drugs dealers. The agency is also hopeful that the tempo will be sustained until the enemies of the country are defeated. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, Lepers community cries out over eviction notice. Do stay with us. Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is the News Update on Trust Television, a recap of our major stories. 2 people die, 5 rescued in Abuja, building collapse. Governor Wike says consultations with Atiku, Obi, Tinubu and Obasanjo are in Nigeria's interest. And to other stories now, the importance of immunization to eradicating vaccine-preventable diseases across every part of the country in order to achieve herd immunity among eligible population has again been reiterated. This was addressed by the Federal Ministry of Health through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency at the Immunization Performance Assessment and Recognition as part of activities to wrap up the African Vaccination Week. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
In recognition and promotion of current vaccination efforts in the country to boost morale and improve performance while creating awareness of the value of vaccines and immunization and highlighting the actions required to counter vaccine-preventable diseases, the Federal Ministry of Health, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, awards outstanding state on improved immunization performances.
Today, we're going to be recognizing 15 states out of 36 plus 1 states that could have been chosen. Personally, we're invested in getting local government chairmen, traditional and religious leaders to mobilize people towards taking vaccinations against COVID-19, but also childhood immunizations. I want to call on those
who will be receiving awards today to see it as an appreciation for a job well done and also as motivation for greater performance. As it is said, the reward for hard work is more work.
Okay, Nasarawa State and Kano State ranked the highest from the indicators out of the 15 other states of the 6 geopolitical zones selected in the categories of coverage in routine immunization, COVID-19 vaccination, among others.
Imagine the number of children that were infected during that problem period. We assure you, we'll continue using technology in order to enhance routine immunization and also fight COVID-19, working with development partners.
You see, in the whole of Nigeria, we only had about 3 centers that could even test COVID-19. Today, even in Nasarawa State, you have over 5 centers that could test COVID-19.
In his remarks, the Minister of Health, Ehanire Osage, says in spite of the tremendous success Nigeria has achieved in immunization and vaccination over the years, every stakeholder must continue to put in more work.
With the integration of other PHC services into the COVID-19 vaccination, it's clear that our task is not limited to eradicating COVID-19 only, but also all other vaccine-preventable diseases. In line with the integration strategy, parents who go for COVID-19 vaccination are encouraged. As a matter of fact, they are requested to go with their children and have the children also vaccinated against childhood diseases.
The African Vaccination Week celebration symbolizes the country's efforts at eradicating preventable diseases over the years and harping on the need to continue the struggle through innovative strategies to safeguard the health of Nigerians. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And still in the health sector, the Zamfara state government is providing free medical services and drugs to over 35,000 poor and vulnerable persons across 14 local government areas of the state. The state deputy governor, Senator Hassan Nasir, who is ensuring the implementation of the exercise, said the program is part of the present administration's commitment to improving health care services to the common man in the state. The report.
Over a decade, Zamfara State had suffered security challenges such as banditry, cattle rustling, kidnapping, and other acts of criminality. These made it difficult for those living in rural communities to access good health care services. These free medical services and drugs for the 35,000 poor and vulnerable persons in the 14 local government areas of Zamfara State will go a long way to improve the health conditions of those living in the rural communities. The Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Senator Hassan Nasir, said the state government is committed to the welfare of the citizens, which informed the provision of free medical services and drugs to the poor and victims of banditry in the state.
His Excellency has ordered that we have to go around the whole 14 local government to see that this outreach has been done. We have flagged up here on the border today, and God willing, tomorrow we are going to go for the sample shot. Inshallah, we are aiming to see that each local government, at least we have 2,000 patients, which will be reviewed, to be consulted by doctors, and also to be given drugs free. And you can see for yourself, so many patients are enjoying the gesture.
The State Commissioner for Health, Aliyu Abubakar, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Aliyu Maradun, assured that they will work hard with stakeholders to ensure the success of the exercise. The sole administrator of Bakura local government area of the state, Dr. Aminu Suleiman, thanked the state government for the kind gesture. He, however, seized the opportunity to appeal to the federal government through Zamfara state government to deploy more military personnel to combat terrorists and secure communities.
The lepers community in Niger State has called on the state government to help build a permanent home for them. The call followed a notice to the residents by the management of the IBB Specialist Hospital asking them to vacate their homes to pave way for expansion. The report.
Kampanin Kutare, which means lepers community, is less than 10 minutes drive from Mina town, the state capital. The community, which is some meters away from the IBB Specialist Hospital, was purported to have occupied the government land belonging to the IBB Specialist Hospital. The community of 38 houses has a population of at least 600 residents who came from various states, including Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, among others, for treatment at the Niger State Leprosy Hospital. Aside the quit notice from government, the stigmatization from other members of the society is also a theme of concern to the lepers and their families.
I came here to receive medication, and we have hospitals in our place, but they are all obsolete. The sickness is getting worse, and I was told that the best place for me to come is Niger State.
Residents here also lamented over lack of toilet facility, poor housing condition, and lack of regular water supply from the State Water Board.
I've been here for 8 years, and I hail from Kagara, Niger State. I've come to receive medication. I don't want to go back home again, because this place is already my home. I'm from Katsina State, and we have been confronting so many challenges. We are appealing to the state government to come to our rescue so that we can feel carried along.
The head teacher of Kampala Bari Primary School, Samuel Yusuf, said it took intervention of some teachers and non-governmental organizations such as Leprosy Mission, who came forward to assist the pupils by buying learning materials for them to encourage them.
Some of them are lack of money to buy the school materials. The teaching and learning materials, sometimes we are lack here, but with the help of the government, local government here, the supply, and in terms of school uniform and shoe and other things, is with some government NOG that come in sometimes to maybe give support.
Efforts to get officials of the Niger State Ministry of Health to speak on relocation notice failed as officials declined comment, asking this reporter to formally write.
Scarcity of the lower denomination of the naira is a daily experience many Nigerians have learned to live with. The Nigerian naira, such as coins, 5, 10, 20, 50, or even 100 naira, are gradually disappearing, leaving many Nigerians with fewer options for transactions. Now, how is the scarcity of the lower denomination of the naira affecting the economy? Answers in this report.
No change. Hold your change. These are familiar phrases that many Nigerians have come to terms with as it pertains payments for goods and services. Business owners and customers alike have at one point or the other had to either pay more, forfeit their money, or walk away from transactions. For Clara Onyechi, the scarcity of lower denomination of the naira has led to losses in her business.
Affect because sometimes we have to let some people go with our 100 naira, 50 naira, you understand, saying that maybe when they come next time they bring it for us, you understand. Some of them you might not see them again, and some of them you might get to forget, or when they come back, when you ask, it become like something like an embarrassing them or something like so. All those things.
In 2007, the Central Bank of Nigeria, under the then Governor Sanusi Lamido, reissued and rebranded the Nigerian naira of all denominations, hoping to revive the economy. Some Nigerians rejected the coins, partly due to the high prices of goods, as one hardly finds the use for the coins. It appears the same is happening with the lower denomination of the naira notes.
If there is no change, definitely I will collect the 1,000 naira, get something else, and give him the balance, or I will leave that in that I want to buy.
In rare occasions, point-of-sale operators, POS, who are now dominant players in dispensing cash, could have few notes of lower denomination, but they depend on the ATMs. So I'm in front of one of the commercial banks here in the Federal Capital Territory, and I want to see if I can withdraw a 500 naira note from the ATM machine.
Let's see what we get. Yeah. It says invalid amount. Enter the amount in multiples of 1,000 naira.
It's very obvious that the CBN is not producing enough. It's not manufacturing enough of those lower denomination notes to meet the demand. What you should be buying for 270 naira, you end up buying it 300.
With the scarcity of the lower naira note, black marketers are making brisk business, hawking the notes for willing buyers. Here, a wrap of 10,000 naira in 100 naira notes goes for as much as 15,000 naira, making 5,000 naira gain for the black marketers. We paid an extra 1,000 naira for 100 pieces of 10 naira. Although hawking the naira is a punishable offense under the CBN Act, places like this are found in many parts of the country. In October 2021, the Central Bank of Nigeria unveiled the e-naira, hoping to reduce the circulation of physical naira notes, which is expected to reduce the cost of printing the naira notes. But with more than half of Nigeria's population financially excluded from the formal sector, the scarcity of the lower denomination of the naira will continue to add burden on the expenses of Nigerians. Ayuba Ilya.
On the foreign scene, clashes have erupted between rival Libyan militias in the center of Tripoli, with the sound of gunfire echoing through the heavily populated part of the city, threatening 2 years of relative peace following a ceasefire deal. The violence early on Saturday comes in the wake of a build-up of rival forces in Tripoli over the past week, who are jostling for power as the northern African country remains divided between rival administrations in the east and the west. And with that story, we've come to the end of News Updates this hour on Trust Television. For more, do connect with us across all our social media handles. Thanks for watching. I am Nten Ekpan. Bye-bye.